Hello there. Lately, I've been very interested in the contrast between two very different trajectories that many people are taking in their life right now. There's the old world, the old way of living, and this is the world that I came from previously, in terms of the way we strive for success and what success means in this life. And then there's the new way of being, which is what I'm embodying in my life as best I can right now. And so are so many others doing this. I feel like there's a stream of people moving from the old way of being into the new paradigm. And this is really exciting because so far for me in the new way of doing things, life is exponentially growing better day by day, moment by moment for me, for my experience. And I'm sure many people can agree with me here. So what am I talking about in terms of the old way of being? Well, for many of us growing up in this world, we were told what success means. It means fame, fortune, wealth, status, popularity, going from strength to strength in our careers, and having a lot of people look up to us in that experience so that we feel that we've had a worldly success. So I'm talking about worldly success. Now, if you look at people who are still on this fast track in life, whose focus and striving is towards physical, external, worldly success, if you really look at the majority of these people, and you'll appreciate this, I'm sure, they feel empty. It is an insatiable appetite for this kind of success. And there is no moment of pause in these people's lives. I speak from experience. We never at any point feel full, really, if we're to be honest with ourselves, really fulfilled. There's always some yearning there, some emptiness there. Our heart needs more. And so it's like this vicious cycle where we look at people who seem to have made it. You see a lot of YouTube ads talking about wealth and you can make it, you can have this success in your life and you can finally be happy. And this is a huge industry. I understand this. I came from the personal development industry. A lot of people who study NLP are seeking this. They're seeking to fill this emptiness through more external physical achievements in their life, through more money and more accumulation of wealth and material things. And it just never comes. And this is why I moved on from NLP. NLP has been a wonderful tool I still use to codify and index the vicissitudes of this reality, the variations in this reality. But ultimately, it's not where we will find that unshakable inner peace, and we will not be satiated if we're purely focused on the physical realm and what we can achieve in it. And I think I'm preaching to the converted here. But it is a really good idea to look at where you've come so that you can understand where other people still are in their lives. So today I'm going to talk about the difference between two very different paradigms, the paradigm of physical success in the world, and then the paradigm of spiritual success, which I call flow and complete surrender. And really the difference is head versus heart. And I'm sure you can agree here. So the old way of being, and I've lived this, is all about goals and strategy and overanalyzing everything and overthinking and competition. This is a big program within this old world success model, competition. The idea of striving in competition, there is a degree of having to be insincere to play this competition game. And let's be honest with ourselves here. Then there's this kind of obsession and imbalance that we create in our lives when we're purely focused on physical success. So we cause an imbalance in every other area of our lives. We have this doing, this productivity, this achieving that we're constantly obsessed with in our lives. And we feel a lot of guilt when we're not doing in our lives. Then we also have the control. It's all about control. It's the small self thinking that it has all of the control to create this reality, when in fact, we're just creating more separation and pain and suffering. So worry and doubt and anxiety, and this is the thing about this old world paradigm, the anxiety, this comes because we are not living in the present moment. We are living in the future. We're constantly striving for some carrot that's dangling, which we never seem to reach. I'm sure you can appreciate that. It's always there in front of you. Everything promises that you will get this carrot one day, but for some reason you never do. And so this false reality, this idea that one day we're going to catch that carrot and we're going to finally feel that emptiness filled with some sort of fulfillment. So we're really limited here in this old world way of thinking. It's all in the mind. The mind cannot work alone. In fact, it's really, if we remember the heart math information, we know that the heart has an electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times stronger than that of the mind. And yet we live in this old world paradigm where we all live up in our head and think that we've got the control on everything and we can create success and feel good. Sadly, no. So really this old world paradigm is stuck in this idea, but we are restricted in time and space. So we really are all only restricted inside an illusion when we are stuck in this old way of thinking, this old way of striving for success in the world. Now, there's a reason why there's a saying, I think it's in the Bible, that says, be in the world, but not of the world. And I think this is perfect to describe the old world versus the new world, the new way of being. And so what is the new way of being that we're all kind of moving into, well, many of us anyway, and finding finally some satiation, fulfillment, and real peace within? Well, the new way is absolutely about the heart. So this is the huge difference. The old way of being, producing, achieving, doing is all up in the head. The new way is in the heart. It's in the heart. And this really means that we can surrender to the divine, because our heart is our connection to the divine. It is the divine within us, which we can feed. So really the new way of being is about complete and total surrender to a higher power, to God, to the divine, to source, however you want to name it. It's really hard to put in words. And so it's best sometimes not to, instead of being stuck in labels. But really, we know deep down that there is something bigger than us that has far more powerful flow in our lives if we allow it. So this new way of being is really just letting go, and letting that grip loosen in this small self perception that we have control over things here. It's about trusting in something greater than us, in a divine force in the world, in this experience. Now, this, of course, then allows us in this beautiful trust and letting go to entrain with the heart field, the connection to source. So then we receive intuition, wisdom, guidance, intelligence, flow in through our lives, and we can achieve what we need in our lives. And it's usually very different to the old way of being, because the old way of being is prescribed to us, a formula. This is what you need to be successful, to feel fulfilled. Whereas there is no guidebook on what success is for an individual in this experience. It doesn't no one fits into another person's shoes in this experience. And that's why it's so beautiful. So the new way of being is really about the unlimited possibilities that are available to us when we just let go of being in our heads, because we are limited when we try and control and create our own reality through our small self. We are only given the possibilities that we've already memorized, that we've already learned is possible for us. And so when we let go and we open ourselves to unlimited possibilities beyond our wildest dreams, things will happen in our life to create amazing experiences according to our heart's desires, our true heart's desires, our true heart's values, not what society tells us is important from the head. And so we get into this beautiful ease and grace in our lives. And it's really about living now. This is what the new way of being is. The spiritual path is about living in the now moment. Unlike the old way where we're living perpetually in the future because we're always looking at what we need and chasing this dangling carrot for fulfillment that never comes. Unlike that, the new way of being is completely about being present in the only real moment, which is now. And that takes a lot of trust and surrender. That's why surrender is the key word here in the new way of being, in flow with divine. So we're going to be living outside of time and space. And this is the key, the difference between the two paradigms, outside of time and space. Can you imagine how much more possibilities and miracles and heavenly solutions available to us when we live outside of time and space in the unified field? Who we really are. This is who we really are, pure loving awareness. And we're fully embracing who we really are while we're in this body. Unlike the old way, we don't even realize who we really are. We try to do everything with our small self and our mind. We're going to come up against blocks and all sorts of struggles and separation and fear. And we wonder why we never feel peace. So the new way is about surrender. It's about being able to listen, and you begin to get really good at listening to that still small voice of spirit guide you through every moment, because we're living in the moment. That takes a lot of trust and courage, but we're living in the moment. And so this is all about listening for signs and omens and synchronicities and serendipities in our life. And this is a beautiful thing when you can live in the moment and go flow through with these beautiful tools that the divine has given us. You'll be amazed at how much joy you get out of the process, not just peace, but joy as well. So what happens when we transition from the old world to the new way of being? Well, this is something I can attest to in my own experience. And it takes great courage, I'll admit that. So remembering the word courage, means the heart. It is about moving from the head down into the heart. So if you want to have success in any area of your life, the new way with unlimited possibilities and miracles and heavenly solutions and joy and bliss and fullness in your heart, then you're going to need to take great courage. Because the reason? Because we need to be able to let go of all old programming, of old identities and roles and labels that we played. And that can be difficult because we've grown up with them. We think they're us. They're not. They're not at all. In fact, they keep us small. They limit us. They enslave us. So letting go of all of the roles and the labels you've played in your life is part of this courage to move into the new paradigm. So letting go of attachments to empty ambitions, wealth, fame, fortune, popularity, status, all of these things that will make you feel empty. You will never feel fully satiated if that's all you're going for. If that's the focus, if that's the first thing you're going for, absolutely not. So letting go of that, and also realizing that you never found security in these old ways of being. There was never any security. You never felt secure. You did not feel secure. Let's be honest. It didn't matter how many houses you owned. There's never that feeling of full peace and security in your heart, because you can't get that from the external world. It's impossible. This is an illusion, this external world, the three-dimensional. So if you really want true security, it's about moving to the heart, and you will find security and all your needs will be met outside of our control. So letting go, just letting go of the grip, letting go, and realizing that that security is not through your own force and through your own small self. So this is about the higher self reaching back from the future and helping us inside time and space here. So how do we transition from this old world to this beautiful new way of being, so that we're no longer striving for and feeling empty inside, and we're no longer buying into the competition model that means we have to play insincerely and do things that that are against our moral codes and ethics and our heart. Well, it's all about willingness first. I mean, willingness to admit it's not working. The old way is not working. You do feel empty, okay? It takes guts to admit, really finally admit it. It's not working. You've been doing it for years. It doesn't work. And you know you're not happy. You haven't felt happy. Deep, deep down, let's be honest. There might be snippets of happiness, moments of joy, but they're fleeting. They're fleeting. So it doesn't work, and you don't feel that peace. So admitting that, the willingness to admit that. Secondly, willingness to surrender all your old labels, as I mentioned, for yourself and the external need to be desired or approved. This is a big one. Okay, so a lot of people in the old paradigm, deep down, their traumas, their wounding, their childhood wounding is about needing to be desired and approved. And that drives them into this idea that they need to have fame and fortune and wealth and popularity and status and material, all sorts of things to fill that emptiness, which will never come, because this is a wound they're reacting to. They're not aware of it, but they're reacting to it. Imagine reacting your whole life to a wound and causing yourself to dig yourself deeper and deeper into that wounding, snowballing the effects of pain. This is what's happening. So willingness to admit that we need to let go of the program of desire and approval from others. It doesn't work. It will never make you feel peace inside. And so willingness to be ready to drop everything and go wherever you are led, following those signs, omens, synchronicities, and serendipities in your life. This takes courage, as I've mentioned. The new way of being is courageous. It takes a lot of heart, courage. So willingness to be able to be in the moment, to listen to guidance, and to drop everything and go where you're led to, because you don't have attachments to things and outcomes anymore. That's courage. That's courage. But can you imagine the joy, the bliss, and the peace that comes with this experience, this way, this paradigm? Now, it also takes willingness to let go and let God. And this is really the biggest message I can share here today. It is about admitting that you can't do it on your own. Your small self with a lowercase s is struggling. It's an automaton. It's a program. Not, most of your consciousness is subconsciousness is a program. All of it is, sorry. And you've been trying to run by it and wondering why you constantly feel empty and you're constantly struggling and you can never reach that carrot, that illusion. And that's because, unfortunately, it's beyond, it's in the illusion. We can't get that. It's an illusion. So willingness to let go and let God and allow a steady stream of guidance. And this comes, I can attest to that, this steady stream of guidance puts you into ease and flow and heavenly solutions in each moment. You'll be amazed at the things around the corner when you live this way. I'm talking about any area of your life, if not all, if you can. In particular, for people who are striving in business, I would challenge you to do this, to listen to this whole video and try this approach. You might want to try just a little baby step, maybe one area of your life first, and see how that goes. But eventually you'll see that you can do this for everything and live in a completely different reality. And so really the transition will take willingness to recognize that your true nature is pure, loving awareness. And pure loving awareness does not operate in the old paradigm. There's no room for it there. It's too small. You are far greater than that. Your potential is beyond your imaginings. So I just want to encourage you today. Look at the contrast. Look where you're going. It's very exciting. It's beautiful. And there's no fear here. There's no fear. No matter what's happening in the external world, you will not feel the same fear because you do not have the same identity, the same attachment. You are not living the same way in the three-dimensional. You are living in a new way of being, a flow of unity, of love. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and have a beautiful day. See ya.